Welcome back to Good Morning Sri Lanka. This is Anupama. If you have missed the previous segment, well, too bad for you. But we still have Rohan and Ishan Dilanarol with us here in the studio, and Amaya is with us as well. So, yes, we were talking about how involved these brothers were in their extracurricular activities at school. So,
and singing was, of course, a very big part of that.
Yes,
I'm sure. But do you have a lot of influence from your parents as well when it comes to going on this musical journey?
Yeah, we do. I think it comes from both sides.
Okay.
My mom was a wonderful pianist.
Wow.
I hate to boast about it, but I think I need to give a little bit of credit to her.
Of course.
She came first in the island twice in a Royal Schools of Music exams, and both underage.
Nice.
Wow. That's an
but
achievement, definitely.
I think so. But you know, motherhood took forefront after this guy came on board.
No. After he came on board, yes, from him onwards.
I always noticed that he blames Ishan for every single thing.
So well, she gave up. And,
because of Ishan?
Because
Okay,
of
because of Ishan.
well, I say that. Well, anyway. That's okay.
And they share an affectionate glance at each other. Okay.
And that was it. So she gave. From my father's side, they were all singers.
I see. Okay.
Most of them were singers who used to sing in the washroom.
Oh.
But
Right.
including my father. But they know a lot about singing.
Okay.
I'm just joking. Obviously, viewers will know that I'm just having a banter about my father. But,
Yes.
but anyway, there were three brothers, three Dilanarol brothers there, and three sisters.
Okay.
And they used to sing a lot at these parties and sort of various occasions like that.
Okay.
And I think I'm correct in saying that they were also in the choir.
Okay.
My grandfather, my dad's father, was a wonderful bass singer in the choir. I think any choir during that time loved to have him in the choir
Okay.
because he was a very good bass
I'm
singer.
sure, yeah.
So yes, I think there has always been this discussion of is it more on the from the mother's side, or is it more from the father's side? Incidentally, my mother's brother, my uncle,
Yeah.
or uncle.
Clarification.
I just want to make sure that
He forgets that Ishan is sitting next to him.
I always want to make sure that we're talking in the plural here. That he himself is a wonderful singer. You know, I mean, those days we used to sing. He was a planter, ex-planter, and whenever we used to travel to his estate, and we used to have these singing sessions and blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
That would be
And
lovely.
He was
Especially
he
in
was a
childhood.
wonderful singer, and my mother used to play the accordion at that time.
Right.
So we used to have great times. Sometimes around the accordion, sometimes around the piano. So back to the point of the question of, is it from the mother's side or is it from the father's side? And something that we always say is it is actually from both sides. So we can't, you can't say, yeah, it's more from that side and it's less from this side. I don't think it's fair to say that, because both parents, both sides have been involved in music. So I think it's a combination of.
But one thing is that they never pushed us to do anything.
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Like we,
Yeah.
So you evolved this love for music on your own.
on
And
our
it was just the
and
background.
we
that
had
was
several
there for you.
hobbies when we were small, and some were just facing off stuff,
Such as?
and like now, well, I was into pottery,
You were in
yeah, and sculpture.
Okay.
So I liked this thing so much, and well, now only I realize, what a lot of effort I put on my parents or my father, because I remember he used to go to Caledonia, down to the riverbed to get this clay, right? So now when I pass California, and I'm thinking, goodness, he came all the way here to just get this clay for me, kind of thing, you know. So
And the roads were bad.
and the roads were and
Completely understand.
Yeah.
was
yeah, and I was like, you know, I used to make these things, and I used to do this at home in the garage,
Okay.
practicing, and then they even set up a room for me outside.
And how old were you?
Right, then I would have been about 15,
Okay.
and they set up this room for me. And when they set up the room for me and moved my stuff there, somehow after about a week I lost interest.
Oh.
Right. So and I stopped. The whole
how did
thing
that happen?
just like that. I don't
And
know. I
now
just
the
lost.
room is being used for.
Now it's a storeroom. So and I was thinking, I mean, but
man.
never did they tell me, look, you know, we built this room for you. Now how come, you know, this and that. So but now,
waste.
yeah, they never
Wow.
said anything.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
very
just a case
encouraging.
that I went from that to another hobby kind of thing.
It's a
So-
little bit to the viewers. It's a little bit different to what happens today.
Yeah, of course, indeed. I mean, you see pressurizing.
where parents are pressurizing
Yeah.
children, saying, "Listen, I did this in school. I was a chorister. I think you should become a chorister." Or I was in this society. You should also be in that society. You know.
Or I was in this society, it's a waste of time, don't do that.
Don't-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
That's even worse.
so it's one of these things, I think, where, you know, yes, you need to kind of you need to guide your children in a certain direction, but I don't think you can force them to say, you know,
Yeah.
listen, I did this, you do the same thing. And that is what is happening with so many parents out there today. And you don't know that you're killing a child, right?
Of course you are.
You
And
know?
you must be seeing this because you work with so many
Oh,
children.
absolutely.
Yeah, we have that.
Absolutely.
We have seen children being pushed to be doctors when they don't like that, and they've studied medicine for about 2-3 years, and then they do this about turn, and then they have to start again.
the beginning.
Some of them liking accountancy, so they have to go on that line. So
It's,
I think it's a waste of time and, you know, everything.
Time and money.
Yeah, and there are even kids who've been pushed to perform, to sing, to
yeah,
dance, to
yeah,
play.
yeah.
People who, you know, just would like to sit down somewhere and write something creative.
Right.
So, you know, I've seen that too among
That's
my
a talent.
Exactly, that's what I'm
Writing,
saying.
you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
Definitely. So that's what I
You know, each person has
has a
something.
different talent.
Yeah, absolutely, and you just need to nurture the
Correct.
child.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, for example, my son, loads of people say, "Oh, does he sing like you? Does he sing like you? Is he in the choir?" And when I finally asked him the question, saying, "Do you want to join the choir?" he said, "No,
Okay. Just straight up.
Straight off, no.
no." Now, I'm not going to tell him, "Listen, Tati was in the choir.
Yeah.
You have to be there. I mean, this is
Safeguard
not good for
my
me,
name."
you know." you know.
Yes. that's a Sri Lankan thing. Have the
Yeah.
keep the respect of your father's name.
He
That's a
wants to
whole
play
Sri Lankan-
basketball, so be
Ah,
it.
superb.
Great to have Rohan as a father then. And,
Yeah, that'll be quite interesting.
But now, speaking about taking your talent and running with it, both of you have definitely done that. And not only here in Sri Lanka, you made your mark in Sri Lanka, but you didn't stop there. Now you've performed all over the world,
Yeah.
and from UK to Australia to
And
the
in
States.
places that every single artist in the world wants to perform.
Definitely.
That's the best part about it. So kudos for that. You know,
Thank
and
you.
yeah, I was just gonna ask, since the last time that you were here until now, what have been the news, the new news, the good ones?
Now we were here in May, right? We need to do a quick rewind. Now, please,
So
but
June we were in Frankfurt.
June we were in Germany.
This
Yes.
is just an example of how busy Rohan and Ishan are.
Ayo.
No, I'm joking.
But anyway,
Go ahead.
yeah, in June we were in Germany. In August we were in Malaysia. And
September we were in UK.
September we were in the UK. That's right. And then before we were in the UK, the two artists that we collaborated in the UK were invited
here.
by us to come to Sri Lanka, and we
Alright.
did a concert here. And October was silent.
Thankfully a relative thing in terms of singing, but we were traveling on work. a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And
But of course, Rohan, was experiencing something very special
Which I
that we
don't
need
want
to
to talk
speak
about
about.
too
Rohan doesn't want to speak about it, Ishan.
Yes,
Maybe you could tell
Ishan,
us.
maybe you could tell us,
yes,
since Rohan has been very modest about
About
it.
what is that?
about the concert that he had in Singapore.
Oh yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Oh yes, Rohan loves to keep that a secret, but I don't think it's
time
needs
that
to
it's
be.
Let's
yeah.
publish it now.
Well,
It's going to be on
Rohan
the
was
web.
invited to perform the Handel's Messiah as one of the key soloists, the bass soloists, and this was a international event where two orchestras of Malaysia and Singapore came together, as well as two choruses, and it was a very big show, and
Indeed.
actually that is why we were not even taking part in any Chogam related functions, because
Right.
Rohan had undertaken this 1.5 years ago. That's how well it was organized and for how long it was organized. So and since we had taken that commitment, we couldn't do anything about it, but it was a fantastic thing, because Rohan being a resident Sri Lankan, I think it was the very first time that someone residing in Sri Lanka was invited to perform that international work. So
Wow.
that was very good.
Congratulations.
Did you have a great time, Rohan? You can speak about
Yes,
the
of course,
experience you had.
Of course, wherever I travel, I have a great time,
Okay.
and I think that is necessary.
Of course.
I enjoy my food. I love meeting people,
And agitating them.
agitating them, and not only agitating, joking and
Don't
having
take
a
him
good
to the
laugh
bird
about
park in
it.
Singapore.
Oh,
That
that just took us to another memory there. Anju wrong bird park.
no, we don't want to talk about
No, let's stop.
Oh no, there is a story
Oh,
behind
yes,
that.
yes.
Nothing to do with the two of us.
Nothing to do
okay,
with
then,
it.
all
Something to do with some other Sri Lankans.
Yeah.
So we shall not.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
We shall not
and
go
you
there.
were saying?
I was saying that I do really enjoy it when I travel overseas. He
Yeah, I
knows
think
that,
we
we
enjoyed
try to enjoy ourselves. So I mean, this was nothing different. Crossing the border, the Singapore Malaysia border to get into Malaysia, because that's where the performance was.
And you saw your name in Chinese on the program.
I saw it in Chinese.
Is that 4
and
characters? Interesting,
It
right?
has
from the
4
poster to the
characters.
flyers.
Everyone seems to be having.
3.
If it's Lee Chong Min, it is 3 characters in Chinese.
I'm loving this. I'm absolutely
Rohan
loving
D. Lanarol is 3 characters, but it has 4 characters in Chinese. And I'm trying to figure out what on earth is this all about. I'll probably have some questions for them when I see them next.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just discovered that actually that
Yeah,
you had
thanks to you.
4 characters.
Because then I looked at the flyer and then I saw, it has 4 characters. How come? But yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, if I am to just very briefly say something about it, working with 3 other soloists, 2 from Malaysia, the soprano and the tenor were from Malaysia, and the contralto was from Singapore.
Okay.
It was a wonderful experience, and we had about 100 people. The entire production was about 100 people on stage, including
Wow.
the orchestra, the chorus, and the soloists.
Wow. Nice.
And we had 1,300 people for the Messiah, which earned a standing ovation at the very end of the.
Very good.
Undoubtedly.
What more can you ask? for, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was a great experience for me. One is an experience for me, but I think it was great to be a Sri Lankan on stage, because I think people don't really come to terms with the fact that you have singers from Sri Lanka who can do something like this. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose not so long ago, a few years ago, people knew Sri Lanka for tea and cricket. Today, Sri Lanka, thankfully, not because of just the 2 of us. I think there are so many other people who are traveling and
Putting
singing,
us on the map.
putting us on the map. And I think it is great for Sri Lanka, because there's so much of talent that is out there.
Of course.
So to me, it was more of a Sri Lankan being on stage, and I think that was more satisfying to me than my being myself and having my own experience. But it was very difficult. It was very difficult. Singing handles work is no easy task. You have about 14-15 bars of music where you have to sing in one breath and where you have triplets running all over the place.